Have you ever met somebody that just has that energy where you walk into any type of room and they just instantly make you feel rejuvenated and more energetic every time you meet them? That's not luck. That's something that you can build. And in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how to get the secret to an attractive energy. The secret to an attractive energy then, boys. So by the end of this video, I'm going to show you how to increase your influence and your relationships with the people that you have currently. I'm also going to show you exactly how to increase your confidence, which will possibly mean more relationships with people, whether it's friends or even women or even people that you're trying to network with. So what an attractive energy really means, it's got nothing to do with looks, money or status. It's all to do with presence. So in other words, it's all to do with the vibe that people get from you. What we're trying to do here, guys, is we're trying to have a grounded, confident and completely comfortable in our own skin. By the end of this video, I'll show you exactly how to do that. So firstly, we need to be able to master your internal state, because you've got to see it as a direct correlation between how calm you are and how powerful presence you have. So the more calm you are, the more powerful you come across to other people, because you cannot fake an attractive energy. When you have anxiety, when you're insecure, when you're a needy person, people can sense that instantly. For example, with women, if you're one of these guys that is anxious, insecure and needy when you go on a date with a girl, that means you've probably not had many girls, right? So this is probably your first date that you had in like 6 months, a year maybe. So when you go on that date with that girl, do you think that your energy is going to be attractive, or do you think your energy is going to be pretty much the opposite, where you ick the girl out? I would argue that the guy that's very needy, he needs something to work. People are disgusted by that. Not only women, but just people that are higher up than you. If you show that you're needy all the time, whether it's somebody you're trying to network with, whether it's a job interview you're trying to get, whether it's a girl that you're trying to sleep with, people can sense that instantly, because it's very off-putting. This is why bosses don't like lick asses, right? Girls hate it when guys are begging it off them, okay? And you probably understand that, because we've all done it. We're all men at the end of the day. We've all tried it. Doesn't work too well, right? What I want you to do instead is to try and breathe slowly, breathe deeply, speak slowly, and don't ever rush for approval. So let's just go back to the dating example. What most guys do is they literally need approval from the woman. They do everything that they can to get the girl to approve him, right? Which is the most opposite and backwards way of doing things, because girls always want to date somebody above them. And if by definition, if you're waiting for her approval all the time, that means that you see her above you, right? What should you do instead? You should go on the date with the girl and try and figure out, why should I like you? Not, I'm going to try my hardest to impress her. You should think to yourself, why should she date me? I'm the cat here. I'm the man. I'm the one earning all the money. I'm the one with the nice physique. I'm the one that does fighting all the time. Why should I go out on a date with you? So once you change that mindset, honestly, things get so much easier for you. And this isn't to do with just women. This can be job interviews. You could be asking the job interviewer your questions instead of just responding back to his questions and making sure that you can get the job. You could be saying stuff like, okay, so if you had to say then, boss man, what is the easiest and the hardest things to do with this job? So what's the easiest thing that I'll probably be doing on this job? And what is the hardest things on this job? Because if it doesn't make sense for me to work here, then I probably won't work here, right? And that creates an abundance mindset. When you've got an abundance mindset, you're automatically more confident and you're automatically more attractive, because when your mind is still, when you're not really expecting any results, when your mind is still, your energy becomes way more powerful and it's so much more attractive. Just think about it, going back to the dating idea again. Who do you think has more sex? More success with girls? Probably sex as well, right? The guy that gets loads of girls anyway, the one that goes on dates with girls and he's like, you know what? If this girl doesn't like me, I've always got Trisha. I've always got, I don't know what any girls' names are. I've already got 3-4 different girls that want me. So I don't need to go out on a date with this girl. Or do you think it's the guy that's never had a date in the last 6 months of a year and he's like, okay, yeah, so what do you do for fun? Blah, 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 blah. And you just talk about yourself trying to impress her all the time. The guy that doesn't try too hard always wins. And that's because his energy is way more attractive. So going back to the trying to impress people, abundance, right? Always think to yourself, no matter what, I'll be okay. If I go speak to that girl and she says no, who gives a shit? It doesn't make my life any worse. If I go up to that person who's quite famous in the gym and I'm a little bit scared to speak to him, no matter what, I'll be okay. This is where we need to change your mindset from self-validation to not anymore. We're not anymore going to be taking external validation. We only validate ourselves. Do not rely on other people to validate you because you can't control it. You can control your self-validation, but you can't control external validation. You might have spent 10 hours posting on the best YouTube video ever, but if people don't really want to watch it, then that means that it's not going to get many views. Does that mean that you haven't done a lot of good work? No, that just means that people didn't really want to watch it. And that's something that you can't control. I've done this many times. I've done this so many times. And it's the one way to get obsessed about results. And it's probably the fastest way to make yourself feel low and depressed. Take it from me. I post Instagram reels every day. I post YouTube videos 3 to 4 times a week. And I expect good results because I put a lot of work in, but I don't always get it. What should we be doing instead? We should learn to entertain ourselves. We should learn to change the mindset to, why should I like you? Think that to yourself. So like I said to you on a previous slide, this can apply for job interviews, dates, networking. And a little story about me and my girlfriend's second date, right? This is my girlfriend here. Her name's Ria. We met about a year and a half ago. It's getting close to our 2-year anniversary now, actually. But on our first date, we just did a cute little Costa date where I had to go to her hometown. Of course, I was trying to smash on the first date, right? But we never did because, geography and everything. I was in her hometown. It wasn't easy to get her back to my house, blah, blah, blah. But we still had a lovely first date. And then on our second date, I was supposed to go play some pool with her, but I remembered on the last minute that I couldn't play pool because I had to go corner my teammate who was having a MMA fight. Don't get me wrong, I really wanted to see her on our second date, but I couldn't go see her unless she had to come jump through some hoops for me, right? Because I had responsibilities. I had to go corner my teammate fight. So I said to her, we were going to go play some pool. Yes, I know, but we were going to go play some pool, but can you just drive to my house? If you want to, we can go watch a fight event instead, which, by the way, she'd never done in her whole life. She'd never done that. So it was all pretty new and pretty scary to her. But I said to her, and I didn't really have any intention or expectation of the result. I was just like, we can't play pool tonight. So how about you come to my house? And then when you get to my house, we'll drive to Lincolnshire, which is another hour and a half away. Bearing in mind, her house to my house is already 45 minutes away. So she drives 45 minutes to my house. And then we went all the way to Lincolnshire to go corner my teammate. And she's not massively into MMA. She is now because of me. But at the time, she didn't really like it too much. And we were watching some amateur fights, which aren't the best quality in the world. But Nathan won his fight. And I was cornering the whole time, so I had to leave her in the stands on her own for a good hour and a half, 2 hours on our second date as well. I come back, drive all the way back from Lincolnshire, and ever since that second date, that is by far the best date I've ever had in my life. And because of that, that is by far the best relationship I've ever had in my life. I mean, I've had some pretty long-term relationships, but this is by far the best relationship I've ever had, and I love her to bits, and it's all because I made my girl jump through hoops to come see me. I was not trying to impress her. I was always having the abundance mindset because I knew that I was dating other girls, and I told Ria this at the first place. I said, look, we can still have a good time. We can still see each other all the time, but I am dating other people at the same time. And do you think that made her give up, or do you think that made her try harder? She was trying to impress me more, right? And now because of that, we have one of the most happy relationships I've ever had in my life. And most people that see us, whether they know us in person or whether they see us on Instagram, I get people messaging me all the time saying how happy we look. But I can assure you that in our actual life, we are very happy and we're a very happy couple. And that's because I had the abundance mindset. I didn't beg it off her. I didn't falter her frame. I didn't go, oh, we can't go on this pool date, so can we do this date instead? I just said to her, look, if you want to see me, then you're going to have to do this. If you don't do this, then we probably won't see each other ever again. And she did it. So Have the abundance mindset. Don't have the scarcity mindset. Don't think that you're never going to get this chance ever again. I'm never going to get this money again, so I need to keep hold of it. I'm never going to get this girl again, so I'm going to keep hold of her. I'm never going to get this job ever again, so I need to keep hold of this job. Honestly, all of these things I just said is just a thing. Girls come and go, money comes and goes, jobs come and go. You've got to see it as it's just a thing. It just happens. Sometimes it goes, sometimes it comes, whatever. That's how you've got to think about things. Next step then, boys, is to be a man on the mission, because men with zero direction in their life have scattered energies, right? They have their energy scattered all over the place. This usually means that when these type of people get in conversations, they're the ones that are like really fast speaking and they never have a point to come across and they don't really have a lot to talk about in their life, so they just speak and they don't have anything to talk about. You notice how you didn't really take in anything I just said there. And that's because if you obsess over a goal, your energy sharpens up. You notice how when I said sharpen, my eyes just squinted slightly. It's because if you don't have any direction in your life, you're so wide-eyed about everything. Your brain just gets so scrambled. You just don't actually have a goal to obsess over. And that means you have very wide energy, scattered energy all the time. When you're a man on the mission, you move with intent, you speak with clarity, and you portray strength and leadership when you speak. If you had a goal of, I need to save up 10 grand so I can go to Thailand to live in Thailand, and then you were so laser focused on that, you wouldn't be talking like a jabbermouth, or a blabbermouth, I should say. If you had a goal of, I need to get down to 10% body fat, you're going to speak with more clarity to people. You're going to have more strength and leadership with people. You're going to move with more intent. If you had a goal of, I want to compete in the cage by the end of next year, you're going to be so obsessed with MMA. You're going to speak with such clarity when you speak, and you're going to have good strength and leadership. I have found this to be very true. When I have no goals, when people speak to me, I don't have any direction in my sentences. I just fucking blabbermouth, right? But when I've got a mission, when I'm trying to become famous on YouTube, when I'm trying to become famous on Instagram, when I'm trying to work on my mixed martial arts skills, when I've got a physique that I want to get, and I've already got a really good physique, but I'm always trying to improve it, my energy is so sharp all the time. I talk about things that I want to talk about with such clarity and such intent. Just understand that being a man on the mission instantly makes your energy way more attractive to people, because you're not the blabbermouth. Every sentence that you say, there's intention behind it and there's clarity behind it. Control your body language, boys. Just understand that your body speaks before you do, and it speaks a lot earlier than you do. So that doesn't necessarily mean that your speech doesn't mean anything, but body language is like the first impression people get on you. So if somebody's walking around with their chest out, people go, okay, he's a confident person. But then when you go speak to him, if he was to be like, yeah, so I don't really know what I'm doing here. I just didn't really want to come to the park today. I'm just making stuff up, but you understand the point I'm trying to make. The body language gives people the first impression of you. When you see somebody walk around with their chest out, you automatically think this guy's a confident bloke. If you walk around with Mr. Hunched Shoulders and looking down at the floor all the time, you automatically think, okay, insecure, this guy probably gets beaten by his dad, right? That's probably what you think. So to have better body language, to be more respected and to have a more attractive body language, we need to take up some more space. So that means when we're stood up, we need to be stood up with our feet shoulder width apart minimum, and we need to have good posture. So we need to have our chest out a bit more, shoulder blades rolled back a bit more, chin up a bit more, and we basically just want to reveal our vital spots. So your vital spots are like your neck. So by lifting up your chin, you're revealing more vital spots, opening up your chest a bit more. Anything that's not closed, when you've got closed body language, that is not an attractive body language. That means that you've got anxiety body language. Great posture, take a lot of space. And when you're speaking, don't be afraid to use some arm signals. At first, you're going to think this is a little bit weird to try, but start off really slow. Start off with nice little hand gestures and start off with slower hand gestures, just to make your point more illustratable. I think that's the word. When you are doing your movements, you don't want to be a prey animal. You don't want to be like a meerkat, by example, where you're just looking around all the time. people like Tommy Shelby, people like Andrew Tate, people that have got supreme confidence. I know that Tommy Shelby is a character, but if you watch any of the Peaky Blinders shows, you'll notice he does everything slowly. Everything's in his own time. And if you look at even animals in the wild and you look at people like animals like lions, for example, they move very slowly. They move with intent. The only time that they ever really explode is when they absolutely have to, when they have to go chase after an animal like a gazelle or a zebra or a antelope or whatever. They'll go very slow throughout the whole day, but then when it's time to work, they go for a massive sprint, right? And then you look at prey animals like meerkats, right? They're always very scanny, very fast movements. That's prey body language. You do not want to have prey body language because people automatically feel anxious around you when you speak to those people, because if you're that guy that takes up a lot of space, you've got your feet up on the table, you just come across as more attractive. You just come across as more relaxed, more calm, more cool, more composed, right? And then when you're talking to people, this is what people struggle with. And I think it's because of phones. I think it's because people are always on their phones, right? But eye contact. Eye contact is one of the fastest ways to develop a deep connection with someone, because nobody's ever had in their life somebody sit there and listen to them for any more than 10 minutes straight. So if you look at any of the biggest podcasters in the world, you'll notice that most of the best podcasters don't even speak a lot. They're just usually asking questions. They're asking open-ended questions, and then they're asking follow-up questions to get more information. Joe Rogan, that half-caste English bloke, I forgot his name, The Diary of a CEO, I think his name is. There's loads of different examples of people. Theo Von as well, where they just let the other person speak and they've got really, really good eye contact game. And somebody that is amazing at doing this, by the way, is Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton, back in the day, when you watch his interviews, when he was on his press conferences and stuff like that, he could effortlessly keep 95% of the time, keep eye contact on you, whether he was talking, whether he was actually listening to you. And I think that's where people struggle. I think most people can give people eye contact while they're listening, but when it comes down to speaking to people and actually keeping the eye contact the whole time while speaking to someone, it's very difficult to do. So I've got a little tip that you guys can follow. And what I do is, and I've had to learn this because I'm a full-time MMA coach, I'm a full-time personal trainer, and I'm a full-time online fitness coach. So I've had to learn to listen to people. I've had to learn to understand their problems so that I can then help them. So the way that I do it is because everyone gets a little bit scared, everyone gets a little bit insecure about eye contact. And the best way to do it is to do the triangle method, where you look at the left eye, you look at the right eye, you look at the nose. Left eye, right eye, nose. So we just need to stimulate our brain. As soon as we're just looking at something straight in the eyes, that's when we get all nervous and when we look away, right? So try this, where you just look at one eye, you look at the other eye, you look at the nose, and you keep on rotating between the two. And because they're all so narrow to my face, I can't tell by your eye contact whether you are doing that or not. It doesn't look weird or anything. I've done it many times and I've managed to hold eye contact a lot longer than I'm comfortable with. So that is the first step, really, is to just try and have longer eye contact. If you can only do eye contact for about 3 seconds, try 4 seconds, just a little bit longer than you're normally used to, because most people really, really underestimate how much eye contact they should be giving to people, especially if they're trying to have more of an attractive energy. If you can't look at people in the eyes and you can't do that and you can't do it very well, people automatically just think that you're an anxious person. And because I understand this myself, there's probably a lot of people that speak to me on a regular basis that do not understand this. And I'm very clever at it. I'm always looking to see if people do keep the eye contact with me or not. If they do keep the eye contact with me, I'm like, this guy's a confident motherfucker, or he watches a lot of YouTube videos like I do. If they can't, then I just automatically think they're insecure and they're anxious. That's just how it is. You want to speak with some depth and you want to learn how to story tell. So I'm not the best person at doing this. I've done it a few times on the channel, where I've told a few good stories, but I get all of my frameworks from a guy called Vin Gyan, or whatever his name is. He's some Asian Australian guy and he's a master at communication skills. And what he talks about in communication is, but you've got to see your voice as an instrument. So Most people, let's imagine that your voice is the guitar, right? Most people's voice, they only use 2 strings out of the 5 or 6 strings they've got on the guitar. So they talk with a tiny bit of volume. They probably speak at a 4 out of 10 volume, and they've got no melody in their speech. They've got no tonality in their speech, and they've got no rhythm changes, speed and tempo changes in their speech as well. And that's because they're only using 2 little strings on the guitar. That's like if I was to play a song called You Really Got Me by the Kinks. They only use like the little banjo string on the guitar. It is an amazing song. That's probably a bad example, but people like Metallica, people like Guns N' Roses, AC/DC, they can use all of the different strings on their guitar. They can use all of the different instruments in their band, right? And most of the time, people are massively underusing their instrument, their voice, to illustrate their point. So learn how to storytell, and the way that you learn how to storytell is through frameworks. And I want you guys to go onto that guy's YouTube channel. I'll get the editor to show you what his YouTube channel is, and he's very good at showing you different frameworks. He's got a 3-2-1 method. He's got a few different methods that massively help with storytelling, because most people ramble too much. So that comes to my next point. Do not ramble too much. Have frameworks that actually work. So every time you get asked a question, you've got this to say, you've got this to say, and you've got this to say, and it's all rehearsed. So every time somebody speaks to you, you come across as a charismatic god, right? So frameworks is how you come across as charismatic. Most of the time when you hear people that they've got really good wit, they haven't actually got wit. Probably 20% of the time they've got good wit. Most of the time it's because they've got frameworks. So when they get asked X, they reply with Y. When they get asked Z, they reply with A, by example, right? You also really want to play with your voice. You really want to try and have different melody, tonality, and volume in your speech. So when you're speaking to people, if you usually speak at a 4 out of 10 volume, 10 out of 10 is you're screaming at the top of your lungs. And then you try to go from your 4 out of 10 volume to a 7 out of 10, and you've only just done this, people are going to look at you like, shit, what the fuck you doing? Usually you don't speak that loud. So what I suggest is do baby steps. Like I said with the eye contact. If you can only do 3 seconds, then do 4 or 5 seconds of eye contact every single time. If you can only speak at a 4 volume out of 10, then try 5 volume, because without volume, the energy doesn't come across. Imagine if I just spoke to you like this and I just didn't really, have any tonality or volume or melody in my voice, and I just spoke to you like this. But if I really wanted to illustrate my point, and then I really wanted to have different tonality when I spoke, and I really wanted to increase the volume, and then when it comes to the end of my point and I want to illustrate a point, I'll do a little pause. You notice how you thought about the last few words of what my sentence there when I said the word pause, and then I actually did pause. You were thinking to yourself, pause, right? And when you do this, just because I want you to have more melody, tonality, and volume in your voice, you still want to speak calmly, clearly, and with conviction. You notice I still thought about the word conviction there because I put a pause on the end, right? So the next step is we need to radiate self-respect. So we need to respect ourselves, because without respecting ourselves, how's anybody else going to respect you, right? You want to have a 1% physique. And if you guys need any help with that, then join my free community. It's now free, my community is, and I've got daily fitness tips on there. I've got daily fighting tips, daily self-improvement tips on there. And it's just amazing, boys. So join my free community. That's going to be the first link in the description. If you need a lot of help with how to get an aesthetic body and stay there for the rest of your life, then jump the queue and just book a call with me below. So once you've joined the call, we'll talk about what you need help with specifically. If I can help you, I will be able to help you. And then we might be able to work together. If not, you'll at least be able to point in the right direction. So you'll know exactly what you should be doing. I just won't be able to coach you how to do that. So there's no strings attached to having a call with me. I love helping people. And sometimes I get on these calls with people and then it gives me inspiration to make a new YouTube video, which gets me more people to join the community, right? So join the community or book a call with me if you need any help with that. And then we've also got boundaries and principles. If we have good boundaries and principles, for example, this is like framing your relationship with your friends, framing your relationship with your girlfriend, even framing relationships with your family. If we have very good boundaries, like if you say this one more time, then I'm going to have to leave and it'll be the last time you ever speak to me. For example, if you said that to your girlfriend, she's going to be way more likely to listen to you. Like a little key tip with boundaries. If I said to my girlfriend, if you ever do that ever again and you ever do that, blah, 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 then I'm never going to speak to you ever again. And I say it with loads of emotion. I say it really quick and I sound really like pathetic about it. Then that isn't as effective as me going, right, that is the last time that you will ever speak to me like that ever again. If you do speak to me like that again, then that will be the last time we ever speak to each other. Do you see how one comes across as more sinister and one comes across as not very respectable? The first one where I speak really quick and I say it with loads of emotion, I don't change my voice, I don't change my tempo in my speech. That isn't as effective as me saying it the second time I said it. And the same thing goes for if somebody's offering a fight with you. Maybe somebody smacked your girlfriend, or maybe somebody said something disrespectful about your girlfriend, right? And you go, mate, if you speak to my girlfriend like that again, then that'll be the last time that you ever do it because I'm going to knock you spark out. If I said that versus, if you do that ever again, I'm going to fucking beat you up, I'm going to blah, 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 and you start screaming and you start acting all emotional, that isn't as effective as saying it in a slow, sinister way. It comes across as way more realistic, basically. When people have a topic to talk about, when people have topics to talk about, no fence sitting, just say your opinion. Remember what I said, we're not trying to impress people, we're not trying to get approval from other people. We're just going to say what we think is right. If people don't agree with us, then that's fine. They don't have to agree with us. So there's so many different ways that we can respect ourselves. We can have a 1% physique. We can go to the gym regularly to get ourselves a 1% physique. We can stick to our diet. We can be really regimented and routine with our diet. And even simple things like just having a skincare routine that you do every morning and every evening. Have some respect for yourself. Work on your looks, work on your finances, work on your physique, work on your skill development. And then as a result of you working on yourself and respecting yourself, people automatically respect you because of the old expression, treat people how you would like to be treated. So the secret to all of this, all in a nutshell for you then, boys, is we need to have a strong mind. We need to have a strong mind. And usually it's very hard to get a strong mind without a strong body. So if you don't have a strong body right now, book a call with me below. I will get you a strong body. And then as a result of me getting you a strong body, you'll have a strong mind. Okay. Once you've done that, you have a mission. You need to have some sort of mission. So maybe once you've got the elite physique, your next mission is learning how to fight in the cage. And if that's the case, then join my community, Size and Violence. I've got loads of free mixed martial arts tips on there. And then once you've developed the mission, automatically your charisma will get better because you're going to be more mission driven instead of having a scattered energy, like I said earlier. But you need to work on your charisma. You need to watch a lot of YouTube videos. You need to look at the people that you admire charisma wise. Is it Andrew Tate? Is it Tommy Shelby? Is it Matthew McConaughey? Is it Robert Downey Jr.? I've got so many different idols that I look up to in regards to charisma, and I've took loads of things from them. It's not copying. When I make a YouTube video, do you not think I look at the best people's YouTube videos and copy their thumbnails and titles, right? We all do it. We're all copying each other. There's nothing wrong with taking bits of people's charisma and implementing it into your life to see if it works. If it doesn't work, throw it away. Just like Bruce Lee said, I want to take all the things that do work and throw away all the shit that doesn't work, right? Same thing for charisma as you would for martial arts. And then we've got self-respect, doing the discipline habits, washing your face every morning, having a morning routine where you get up at the same time every morning, having some sort of diet that you follow, having some sort of exercise routine that you follow. All of this will cause more self-respect for yourself. And then as a result of having more self-respect for yourself, you're going to radiate more respect from other people. People are going to start respecting you because you have self-respect. And then when all of these are in sync, our energy becomes magnetic to people. We start radiating attractiveness instead of attracting people. We start radiating positive energy instead of attracting positive energy. And like I say, I've got a whole course on exactly how to do this. If you just join my free community, Size and Violence, you'll have a closer connection to myself, not just sending me messages in the YouTube comments. You'll be able to talk to me every single day. And it's just a beautiful community of people just trying to help each other out in fitness, fighting, and self-improvement. First link in the description will be my Size and Violence program. Second link in the description will be my book a call to get a closer mentorship connection with myself. I can't wait to see you guys in there. So thank you very much for watching, boys, and I shall see you on the next video.